I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I am so grateful, as always, that you guys are watching, subscribing, and commenting on my channel. I appreciate all of the support that you guys have been sending my way. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about INFJs and abandonment issues that we have. From the time when I was very young, I knew in my head that I was unworthy of love, that I wasn't good enough as I was, and I need to become better in order to be loved, right? In order to get that love. And this is partly due to the fact that I felt like my parents' love for me was conditional based upon me behaving like a good little daughter, right? So if I did the right things, I was loved. And it felt like, and I'm sure it wasn't the case, I mean, I'm sure they loved me no matter what. But at that point, as a child, I believed that if I did certain things wrong, or if I lived a certain way, or I said certain things, then they didn't love me anymore. And so I had to behave a certain way in order to be loved. And being an INFJ, being a child that is thinking about death constantly, or wanting to live a life of purpose, or wanting to do something different in the world, was obviously stamped out of me as soon as possible, because it wasn't the kind of world that I could live in. I wanted to be a writer from when I was very young, but as soon as my parents heard of it, they were like, no, you're going to become a doctor, because that is a steady, stable paycheck. And being a writer, who knows if you'll ever make money and if you will ever be successful. And so no, you're going to focus on something that is positive and something that has positive gains in the future, right? Which is obviously a very parental thing to do and a logical way of looking at the world. Unfortunately, at that point in time, I thought that I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough as a writer. I wasn't good enough as a child, as a daughter. And all of that kind of resulted in, and I'm not blaming my parents for it, obviously. It was just my own thinking that convoluted things. Instead of looking at it in a positive way, I looked at it in a negative way, right? And so I convoluted my thinking into realizing that I am not worthy as I am, right? And every single time this happened, and throughout my life, until this point, until now, even now, I do the same thing. As soon as I get into a relationship with a new individual, or with any individual that I'm in a relationship already, I always think that I have to do certain things in order for them to love me, right? Obviously, they're not just going to love me as I am. I have to be a certain kind of person. I have to play a certain role. I have to put on a certain mask in order to be loved. Otherwise, I'm not going to be loved, right? But what happens is that, sometimes that individual is not just going to be spending time or loving me, right? I'm not the only person in their life. Even though I'm an introvert, I still have 4 or 5 people in my life that I spend time with, friends, family members, etc. And so I am not the only person that they're going to give their love to. But for some reason, because of the unworthiness issue or the abandonment issues or things like that, in my head, I have this idea that if that person that I love, if they love someone else, because there is a limited amount of love in their heart or in their bodies, because of conditional love, because I've been taught that love is conditional, and because conditional love is limited, I believe that every person on this planet has a limited amount of conditional love in their heart. And it's limited based on, of course, conditions that I have to meet. So if I meet a certain condition, then the person's going to love me. But because they have a limited amount of love in their heart, if another person comes into their life that they love, even if it's not the kind of romantic love that I'm speaking of, even if it's just a friend that they really like, they really love that friend, they want to spend a lot of time with them, it's their favorite person in the world, after me or along with me. For me, because I believe that there is a limited amount of love in their heart that they can give to other people, it means that if they love someone else, they will have less love for me. And that's the essence of our rejection or abandonment issues. We are so fearful that someone else, is going to fall in love with someone else, or not even that, they're just going to they have a limited amount of love in their heart, and therefore if they have anyone else in their life, anyone else at all that they love, it means that they will have less love for us. And in that way, we kind of get extremely clingy and needy with that person, because we don't want them to hang out with anyone else. And I've done a video on this in the past, in the past week or two, where I said, we don't like sharing our favorite people with others. And the more I thought about it, I think it has to do with this idea in our heads, and a lot of people have this idea in their head, that everyone has a limited amount of love in their heart, right? And that's the main reason why we get afraid when our favorite person falls for someone else, even if it's just in a friendly manner. Even if my boyfriend has this guy friend that he really likes, that has been friends with him for 20 years or so, and he wants to spend time with him, even though it's just a guy friend, there's nothing sexual going on, nothing romantic, it's just a friendship, even then I have this insane idea in my head that because love is limited, because there's a limited amount of love in every person's body or heart, as soon as someone else comes into the picture, the amount of love that person has for me is limited. And therefore, I don't want to share my favorite people with anyone else, right? Now, I think this limited idea, the idea that their love is limited, I think it's kind of propagated throughout society in a lot of different ways, right? That's one of the reasons why we have this feeling of scarcity on this planet right now, where we feel like there's not enough, there's never enough. We want more and more and more because it's not enough. We have this poverty mindset where it's not enough. Money is not enough. No matter how much money I have, it's not enough. No matter how much stuff I have, it's never enough. No matter how much love I have, it's never enough. No matter how many friends I have on Facebook, it's never enough. No matter how many likes I get, it's never enough. You know what I'm saying? There is this constant scarcity mindset where more is better and less is worse. And the more you can have, the better it is. The more you can have, the better it is. The more we want, the less enough it is, right? And so we're constantly fighting for more. And this constant fight for more or wanting more is because we believe that there's a limited amount of stuff on this planet. We have this thing inside our head that has been propagated by society that tells us that we need to compete with others, because if someone else gets more than you, it means that you're going to have less because there's a limited amount of stuff on this planet. Now, of course, if you are at all a little bit spiritual, or if you believe in the mindset of abundance, you realize that there is more than enough, actually more than enough for everyone on this planet and more. And there is an abundance of resources and love and stuff and everything else you might desire on this planet. There's more than enough for everyone. And you just have to realize that fact. Now, I'm not saying, this has nothing to do with the state of the environment right now or the fact that we're plundering the earth or anything. That is a completely separate issue. I'm speaking about the mindset of abundance rather than the actual fact that Earth's resources are being depleted. Okay, there's completely two different issues there. So the mindset of abundance is what I'm talking about. And in the mindset of abundance, there is enough love, more than enough love for you. You don't have to fight for it. You don't have to compete with other people for it. It doesn't mean that if your friend or family member or your lover, if he finds someone else who is a friend of his, or even if it's a romantic kind of love, it doesn't mean that their love for you is going to depreciate in any way. It means that there is enough love in your heart and their heart and everyone's heart that they will be able to give you the support that you need despite having other people in their life, right? They don't need to stop loving you, or they don't need to be less loving towards you because they're loving someone else, or they don't need to spend less time with you, loving you, because they have a new friend in their life, or a new job in their life, or a new partner in their life. That's one of the reasons why open relationships or polygamy works really well, is because that's the essence of it. There is not a limited amount of love in anyone's heart for anyone else. Therefore, you can have several partners and still have enough love to give all of them, no matter what's going on with each person, right? I really wanted to share this with you guys because I know as an INFJ for myself, this has been one of the reasons why I have a hard time getting into relationships, is because I feel like there is this limit on the amount of love that the person can have. And so most people have a lot of people in their lives, right? Like I'm dating extroverts, which means that they're extroverted and they have a lot of people in their life, a lot more than I would ever have. Maybe 10, 15, 20, 30 people that they care about, that they spend time with, that they talk to, that they chat with, that they want to hang out with. And that's exclusive of me. I mean, I'm not included in every single transaction that they have with other people, obviously, right? A lot of times they're spending time on their own. And in my heart, as soon as I think of that, I think, oh, I'm being abandoned. I'm being rejected. I'm going to be left alone. I'm going to be they're going to break up with me. Obviously, they're going to leave me, right? Which is not the case at all, actually. I mean, maybe 1% of the time it might be the case that they're thinking about leaving. But most of the time, it's just that they're an extrovert, or they're a friendly person, or they just have other people in their life that they want to hang out with. And for me, as I get older, I'm really learning this for myself. And I really wanted to, as I said, share this with you guys, because perhaps you're going through exactly the same thing. And for me, the logic behind it, the fact that I believe that there's a limited amount of love, that really changed the way I started thinking about things in my head. Now I realize it's not true. There is not a limited amount of love in their heart for me or for anyone else. And so if they love someone else and they love me, it doesn't mean that I will have, or they will have, less love for me. It does not mean that at all. And so I can let them have other people in their relationship, other people in their life, without feeling abandoned or rejected by them, right? And obviously this is a work in practice. I am not saying I'm there yet, but again, if I share this with you, hopefully it'll help you guys as well. Again, if you guys have any questions about this video or any other topic that I've done, I do implore you guys to message me about them. All of my contact information is in the description below, or you can comment below. I read and reply to all comments. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.